Welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 3. This is for the DHOpen 2014 Bucharest. Thank you very kindly for watching Base Trade TV. I'm Rick, joined now by Zombie Grub, and would you like to start these introductions, madam?
In the bottom right, as the blue Terran, it is my Insanity's Jjakji.
Not gonna lie, looked a little bit scary that game at several points because our player in the top left, the Red Zerg player, Liquid TLO, almost crushed him at least twice, I'd say, but got a little too close for comfort.
You know what? That first attack that just barely didn't break Jjakji.
Like the 2-2 timing, yeah.
Yeah, so like imagine, it's so sick to imagine like this would be the actual like the straw that broke the camel's back, whatever they say. But those units that he set back for the drop for Jjakji, I think he breaks through and gets into the production line if he has those in the front army.
Yeah, but it's always a risk. Like, do you risk losing your third? You don't quite know just the assessment of what your opponent has. And unlike banelings, this isn't a situation where you see Marines and go like, unfortunately, with the Roach Hydra, you do have to be a little bit conservative with your forces, which is why you don't want to lose that third, because replacing them is quite expensive.
Yeah. Well, Jjakji's going to be going for 14cc. This will mean that he won't have those Reapers that we know and love him for.
What's the difference with this overlay, by the way? Hang on, I am using the right new one, right? Options, gameplay. Yeah, 1.1. I'm gonna ask Stagio.
Oh, actually, I do know what that is. It wasn't that the cries were heard. It was whenever you were Terran, the supply would show an Overlord.
Oh.
That is literally the change.
Well, you know what? It's still a fix nonetheless. Because I did actually see a specific Reddit thread pointing out that that exact thing before we got into this one.
Yep.
So I guess it's not a brand new overlay, guys, by any means, but they fixed one of the subtle nuances. Now we got a supply depot up there. Again, it's kind of funny. Once upon a time, I think this was before you even got involved with us at Base Trade TV, Zombie Grub. We tried making our own overlays, and we tried also just doing it at the top, and it didn't look as clean as this, of course, but. We also ended up opting moving it to the bottom later. But again, guys, to keep in mind, I think the DreamHack overlay we talked about is more focused on benefiting the live audience. Of course, they don't want to alienate the online crowd by any means, but the live audience would have like the bottom parts cut off a little bit, and screens and resolutions and whatnot. So and plus the crowd being in the way, it's nice to see that they are looking to try and find a way that accommodates all.
Yeah, definitely. Well. Already a little bit of a different game, both going for a lot greedier play. Of course, TLO, I almost feel like Zergs do feel forced into certain styles on these new maps, even though, you know, the third is hard to get for everyone, pretty much. Like Merry-Go-Round and Way Station seem to be maps where, at the very least, they don't just go straight Roach Hydra, they at least go for the Roach attacks in the beginning.
I think, well, on top of that, too, with King Sejong Station being so massively big, for Jjakji to go for this actually kind of makes sense. I'm pretty sure, and someone can correct me, even with the crosslet spawns on top left, bottom right of Way Station, this is still the longest rush distance from natural to natural because of the sort of S pattern you got to take. So by going for the earlier command center, it's not really the necessity or not versus scouting, but it's more that he's not really worried about Lings hitting at a timing that will really threaten his command center. So it's kind of nice.
It definitely does have to be on the map, because last time TLO did go for that front pool first, so Jjakji would have, you know, if that was the same thing, Jjakji would have maybe been out of a command center for 30 more seconds or whatever the time is.
Well, I do hope that TLO can gather his wits about him, because again, I want to really stress, guys, last game was not a sweep by Jjakji by any means. TLO did have a couple opportunities where it did look very scary, and it's very realistic he pulls us back, but, oops, almost missed first blood.
First blood.
But, yeah, I don't know. The creep spread is going to be a little hard to stop this time, too, without the Reapers. One of the biggest things was, you know, we mentioned how his Reapers had stopped the creep spread from the main and the natural. The Queens couldn't afford to put any down because they had to save up for transfuses early. So we still saw insane creep spread out of TLO, despite these sort of, I guess, setbacks in the early game. This time he's going unabated, and his creep spread is going to be out of control.
It's a little harder on maps where it isn't a direct line. Like last map in those positions, direct line, one way. Like you can, here you gotta do that S curve you talked about, but it's probably still gonna be pretty good. TLO is the guy that really...
Well, Creep kind of ignores... Oh, hang on. Double Helen's gonna get up here into the drone line. This is something kind of funny we see out of Croatian player named Froz a lot of the time. just the faster Hellions in order to trade up for a couple drones.
I don't know if I really like setting in this first 2 Hellions.
Yeah, I mean 2 for 4 drones kind of it's even value, but losing the Hellions means you don't have that map control to set back the creep. 2 more Hellions even gonna try and get into the mix here. Unfortunately, with that nice body block on the drone. Yeah, the Queen's in that 1 drone, nice body block. We'll keep them at bay. But I was gonna say with the creep tumors, I would almost imagine actually it's easier to spread with an S-shape formation because creep doesn't really adhere to terrain, right? You could just, as long as you got vision, keep plopping it in a straight line no matter where it is.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna want to not only go for like the S shape, but also off to the right because that's where his 4th is, as opposed to last game where it was just he didn't have to worry about a 4th because it wasn't in his game plan.
That is true.
Anyways, so Jjakji did go for Banshees, and the Overlord scout. Oh, he is okay. No, he's not. He's not going for Banshees. The Overlord scouted it though. Like if you look at TLO's vision, he still thinks that it's gonna be Banshees.
Oh yeah. And it looks like it's researching and everything. So a cancel and a swap out of Jjakji. Gonna go for the reactor instead. Faster medevacs, I think, can be beneficial on this map. There's a lot of spaces behind bases you can get around, and let's not forget just kind of carrying units rather straight through the middle. But look at TLO. I love this Spore Crawler positioning. Granted, I think he's kind of overreacting because he thought it was going to be Banshees, but that's fine. It's 2 extra Spore Crawlers that you could eventually position elsewhere on the map, right?
Yeah, you know, it does suck that he got 2 in like 2 bases, but you're right. Eventually, be able to like make a little tiny wall of Spore Crawlers. You don't see those against Terran, but it can happen.
Well, it's not just that, but I mean, whether you're advancing in line forward, maybe you're worried about medevacs coming towards your 5th later on. Suddenly, you don't have to worry about investing in the Spore Crawler because you already did.
Right.
But this is a good map for lots of bases, and I think one big strength of Zerg is being able to take multiple bases early on. Like, there's a lot of times you'll see a double expand 5 and 6 at the same time. Not something Terran players are often afforded the opportunity to do. And TLO's actually rushing over here to creep block this one as well. So he's going to keep Jjakji in 2 bases for quite a bit of time.
Creep block. And Jjakji's got to be careful about coming down here. A common tactic is to get enough lings to surround the army that would come out to take care of the Overlord, and that is what TLO is trying to set up. At the very least, he's going to try and get the SCVs. I don't know if it's big enough to take on the army, but the army isn't attack moving.
Yeah, they're focused on the Overlord. They're a little unfortunate at Jjakji. That's actually going to be the difference of him fending off these lings versus losing all the Marines. A small mistake, but a big one in the end, really. It's the Overlord didn't die while this was going on, by the way, so it's still spreading creep. Which means it's going to be even longer before the command center lands. That was a bit of a goof.
Well, you know, now at this time is when Jjakji should be pushing out with that sizable army that we saw, and now look at his army. It's Hellions and like 4 Marines.
That's weird. I wonder what the move command. Maybe he tried to right-click the Overlord, but clicked on the command center by mistake. Is the only thing I can think of. Because like, why wouldn't you attack move, right?
I guess so. If he had A-clicked on the Overlord, he'd just be going to that though. Wouldn't attack anything else.
Right. But they weren't. That's the thing. That's why I'm sitting there like, it's kind of confused, I guess. But he is going to start cleaning up some of the creep tumors, cleaning up the cleep tumors. Oh boy, it's fun being Asian. The Mutalisks are finally in play for TLO, and he does have his upgrades on the way. This is something that's kind of nice. Jjakji and him both on 1-1 at the moment, but unfortunately for TLO, doesn't have a lot of banelings really available. He's got some, but they don't have speed done yet either, which is a bit of a problem. Still moving forward with them nonetheless.
Not usually do you see the Hellions saved in this push, but since he had room, he went ahead and saved them.
Well, I mean, why not? They're great for soaking hits, if nothing else.
Yeah, he didn't. Because he lost the Marines, he didn't have that, you know, exactly 60 Marines or, you know, 14 Marines and Marauder to fill the medevacs. But he just pushed back for now, and TLO can breathe easy for that 4th, just a little while longer while Jjakji, you know, gets set up again. He can also start thinking about what he's going to do with his Mutalisks. Right now, they're just sitting back and defending. These are Overseers, interestingly. For the double contaminate on the upgrades.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this before. That's really cool. Contaminate costs so much. Again, I want someone to do a game where they go out of their way to indefinitely contaminate, because Overseers are not too. They're 50-50, right? For cost.
40-40. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's 50 and 50. I could be mistaken, but
okay.
You know, you're right. The defensive Mutalisks are a bit odd to see, but he doesn't. I don't think he's really investing into an overwhelming amount of them. He's getting a pretty healthy amount, but this isn't like Gem Rising, say, where you're trying to rush out 40 Mutalisks as soon as humanly possible, cutting out upgrades and banelings along the way. No, DLO's got a pretty healthy baneling count. He's got centrifugal hooks coming up, but his 2-2 is well nearly finished with his weapons at least.
So yeah, seemed he was a little late on the +2 carapace. A little unfortunate.
Oh, you know
Not
what?
only
These
did
mutas
they-
are going to snipe the engineering base.
Oh yeah, so not only Overseers contaminate, but they also saw, hey, there are already turrets over there. Let me try and snipe this.
Unfortunately, SUVs are going to repair this. Well, fortunately for Jjakji, but since this is happening, a drop goes off on the other side of the map and a big push into the 4th. For TLO, unfortunately, his forces are a little bit split due to the Mulas being on the wrong side of the map. Bailings are rolling in a couple of times. They're getting some decent connects though on top of this army, trying to split to make sure he doesn't take Widowmine hits. Looks like he did clean up the main while this is going on. Mulas coming in front and behind, and looks like TLO should be able to hold this. Did get a little bit scary there.
Yeah, a little scary, but now the reinforcements coming in are not going to be enough, so Jjakji will have to just run away. Maybe for another day. The upgrades for Jjakji are about to finish. Plus 2 armor.
He's actually get like 4 or 5 of these medevacs.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, he probably could have got another 2, but he didn't know how many turrets were there. We talk about this a lot too on the stream constantly, and I really want to stress this, guys. For Terran, it's not like medevacs are expensive to produce. Once you get to this stage of the game, your gas count isn't really as conservative. That's why you don't even take Geysers 5 and 6. You don't need to type thing, but losing medevacs early like this will be quite costly to replace. And it looks like he is going to dive in again for more contaminates, but actually hasn't started anything yet.
Oh my god, he's actually getting the 4 Overseers.
Oh, TLO, you crazy cool guy. He actually, I like this too. He sees that they're not researching anything, so he backs away immediately.
Saves the Overseers. Usually no one cares about the Overseers.
Yeah, exactly. 3-3 on the way for Jjakji now, though.
You know, Jjakji is not producing any more medevacs. He might just be perfectly okay with the medevac count he still has. I think that is the case. Like 5 isn't bad. Oh, look at the Widowmine count, though. Whoa.
You usually don't see this many Widowmines, but again, you know what? Every time we do this, I seem to forget that it's Jjakji. Jjakji's been going out of his way to like do Widowmine micro every time we see him, which is really cool because you don't see that out of other players. Nice Widowmine hit's gonna pop off, but it's not gonna be enough to completely decimate the Mutalisks. It will take out about 1 or 2 thanks to the turret helping in here, but contaminates do go off and we'll stall out that 3-3. Really nice move here out of TLO, but he's gotta pull back.
Like he was trying to do a body block with the changelings. And it almost was successful. Had he had more energy, I think. That could have been pretty cool. I don't know if it was actually his plan. But Jjakji is pushing forward here, clearing up the creep. TLO having a difficult time replanting his creep.
Oh, he's going to get level 3 armor. You know, you kind of want the weapons more than the armor, but you know what? Getting either of these is a great denial out of Jjakji because a Terran player on 3-3 is just such a pain to deal with when it comes down to it, just bottom line.
Well,
there's a Thor here, though. He's got to stop clumping. Oh, he's on the run. He's going to lose a couple more Mutalisks. So many are in the red. Drop goes off when this is happening as well.
TLO, Hydralisk. I didn't even notice Hydra coming down.
Yeah, he went for the Roach Hydra while this was going down behind it. Or I thought it was going to be Roach Hydra, but Hydra Ling ends up being the case. Level 3 weapons on the way for those melee weapons, and Adrenal Glands coming out in tandem with this. You know, there's a reason you stop going for Bailings at some point. Like, you always want some, but eventually you start realizing that you're just not going to be able to get the hits off you need versus players with good control. So you kind of replace that DPS with the Hydralisk. And Hydraling is way more popular, I would say, in like CVP than it is TVZ, but we have seen it before in the past.
Interesting. All right. So he's also getting the upgrades for him. He's really investing into him. His upgrades for his melee units, unfortunately, are still really far off.
Oh, one of my hits are going to be pretty good on top of these Banelings, but doesn't quite cancel out enough to stop this push. TLO, again, with the Hydralisk is a weird thing to see, but they're going to take the place of the Banelings as far as DPS goes. Zergling's still flooding in here, and Adrenal Glands has finished up. He doesn't have the level 3 weapon upgrades, though. Regardless, still swamps over Jjakji's army, and Jjakji had a lot of Widowmines, but that's past tense, down to 2. From what was that, almost 15, 16 he had before.
Plus 3 weapons is about to finish for Jjakji. I believe he got a second engineering bay, but did not start anything on it. Unfortunately, that means TLO is going to be ahead.
No, yeah, oh, that's a mistake. He actually queued it up behind his level 3 weapons.
Ah, that is a mistake. No use getting that engineering bay now.
Well, if he gets picked off turrets, maybe. I don't know. It's whatever.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
Looking to try and get that plus 3. Jjakji knows this, though, recognizing what TLO is up to. Contaminate does go down, but he cancels it. Hey, now there's a reason to have that second engineering base zombie.
Whoa! I was proven wrong. I don't know.
It's so weird that came down to it, but that's also really cool at the same time. TLO is trying to get another base while this is happening as well, and his creep speed might not be out of control, but it's worth noting the amount of times Jjakji's cleaned it up, TLO's also been replacing it. He goes for the dive, but he doesn't realize the engineering base is not building. Throws down a ton of contaminates. But also, I don't think realizes a second engineering may be made behind this. His Overlord does have vision of it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Some Mutalisk almost went down right there, but luckily he keeps most of them alive. He's transitioning into Ultralisk right now, and Jjakji's still making a lot of Marines. Doesn't mean he's, you know, it's only when it's completely Marine wood of mine do you see the Ultra transition really just power through the game and win it for the Zerg player.
You know what's kind of cool though? Roach Bailing, sorry, not Roach Bailing, what am I saying here? Ultralisk Bailings, Ultralisk and Mutalisk, they pair up well. I don't think I've really seen Ultralisks and Hydralisks though versus Terran.
I definitely haven't. So this is new for me. Very interesting. It looks like it's working out, but that might be because TLO has been in a good position this entire game.
Well, if there's one tournament you bring out this strategy, and it's going to be DreamHack, we got a lot of Spine Crawlers going down here too to help prevent counterattacks. Hydralisks have so much DPS ever since that buff. I think a lot of people really thought it wasn't going to make that big of a difference, but when you've got enough of them, it really shows through. Ultra is still going to march through here on the front lines. Woodmine's not going off on a single Hydralisk. Blinding Clouds have gone down on top of the army as well. And looking to push him back, he will pick off the Thors.
That wasn't as much as a stomp as I expected from TLO. He had the surround, but...
He had the surround, he had the Blinding Clouds. The only thing he didn't have was creep. But even then, I don't think that would have influenced it too much.
Yeah, or a fungal, which he is starting to invest into.
Ooh.
I think the Blinding Clouds, while they looked like they were confusing the army, it was almost for the better. Like, Jjakji's army had to run out of them, so it was spreading even more. I don't know, but they weren't so useful, and I believe the Vipers did die. Okay, one survived.
The one thing I'm curious about, even the Brood Lords possibly coming out is kind of expected. I still want to see if he's going to produce Hydralisks or if he's just going to use the ones he currently has. I think it's a really cool idea, and I can certainly see it working in a perfect scenario, but he is investing in the level 3 ranged weapon upgrade, so TLO is certainly grab-bagging this unit composition. Let's see what he's got. He's got Zerglings, Hydralisks, Overseers, and I only bring up the Overseers because he's been very active with them. Mutalisks, Banelings, Vipers, Ultralisks, and soon-to-be Infestors. I mean, seriously, is there going to be any unit in play that... I guess Swarm Host's the only thing he's missing.
Yeah.
Oh, that Mutalisk hit, though, from the Thor. These are going to pop off here in a second. One more hit's going to kill a lot of them. The Ultralisk barely saved the Mutalisk in time, but even then, he walks away with almost none remaining, sadly.
Again, a double-pronged attack that originally looks very, very scary on the minimap, not really working out so well for TLO.
No,
he is transitioning into Broodlords right now.
It is worth noting, he is trading pretty well. Usually the Zerg player is really far behind on resources lost due to the Baneling sacrifices, but TLO is still actually a little bit better than Jjakji right now on resources lost.
He's still on those 5 bases. Would love to see a 6th come down. There's a Marine searching for it, but...
The corruptions have already been made. 6 just popped, 7 just popped. We're going to actually have Broodlords come out.
Yeah.
And this is, I say it with a smile on my face because, again, a lot of people forgot, but at the start of Heart of the Swarm, TLO was doing weird things where he'd mix in Broodlords with just about every composition. Swarm Host, Ultralisk, Hydralisk, you name it, Broodlords were there, and we're going to see it once again. I think these can work out really well, though, because there's just not going to be a single Viking in play, and they're going to have the 3/3 upgrades from the Zerglings. This base, though, will they finish in time to save this base?
Maybe if he focuses it not, but I don't
comes
think
in from behind though.
Yeah,
oh, that Baneling hit's gonna connect to a lot of those Marines, but the Ultralisk is in the back, not in the front, unfortunately, and the Hydralisks are gonna probably die because of this. But the Broodlords look like they will start cleaning this up a little bit. But unfortunately, Stimmed moved underneath this.
You know,
yeah, he went for the Passing Glance a little while ago. But you know what's kind of cool? The other benefit of Broodlords, not only do they do a ton of damage and whatever, they will also pop off pretty much every Widowmine with a Broodling. So that could pay off in the end.
Still a disjointed attack from TLO. I think he felt very confident in this game, but a little too confident. Getting the grab. I can't think of it right now. Oh my god, so early.
The upper hand.
No, he's getting the ragtag group of units. No, the ragtag.
Oh, these Broodlords, unfortunately, middle of the map. Trying to kick them back a little bit.
It's not working out. Broodlords, unless they have a sizable army underneath, it's really easy to take care of them.
Well, that and you really need the Infestors to keep the Marines from doing what they're doing right now. Fungal growth stops this from happening. Without that fungal growth, the Marines just stim underneath us, and even though there's no Vikings in play, TLO's army supply, just realize how far behind it is that of Jjakji's.
Yeah, I mean, ever since that attack right here, it just went totally south, and so,
GG.
GG.
Wow, Jjakji ends up taking a 2-0 in the end. I really didn't see this being a 2-0 series, but congratulations to Jjakji.